didn't even use that to the best of its abilities. Maybe putting more power on the board.
And even going further back to the spell slinger that gave Ozkaka the Divine Spirit, which made that Tomb Pillager just stay around forever, which definitely got so much work done. But we are going into the next game, and it is going to be Ozkaka's Reno lock versus Jackie Chan's. This is his second Yogg deck, right? It's Yogg Druid.
Yogg Druid. There is a Yogg Saron in this Druid. It's a super interesting Druid list.
What's that card in the middle? I forgot all about this one.
Force of Nature. There was some players that made bold predictions. I can't remember, but there was players that made bold predictions that said Force of Nature might be even better after the change. Now, this is in the context of Standard, because the old Force of Nature, it was great because the minions had charge, but then they disappeared at the end of the turn. So if you just wanted to use them for damage or to get board presence, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't just play Force of Nature on an empty board. It was a bad play. But now you can. And the treants stick around. And when you're playing a token-esque deck, 3 2/2s for 5 mana, if you're playing sort of that wide style, is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, and I think a good portion of the viewers are going to have mixed feelings about this hand of Jackie Chan. They are going to see the Force of Nature Savage Roar and an Innovate in hand, which is given us all nightmares in the past. But it is much less, at least urgently threatening as it used to be.
Yeah.
And
for those wondering why we're sort of giving away some of the cards in these players' decks, all the players were given access, and the deck lists for these players are public knowledge. For this season of the Hearthstone Championship Tour, they made the decision to make the deck list public so that players that were streamed wouldn't have a disadvantage over players that weren't, so that everybody could know everybody's cards going into it. So Ozkaka knows every card that's in Jackie Chan's deck lineups, and Jackie Chan knows every card that's in Ozkaka's deck lineup. So it's a really interesting
we would
dynamic.
definitely not be talking about cards that have not been seen otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's cool, everyone. It's cool. But this matchup again is just the same old with Jackie. Like, it's very difficult to make sort of predictions about how the matchup flow is supposed to be when you just like Jackie Chan's playing Yogg Druid with Force of Nature in it. Sure, we'll see what happens.
Raven, he's got combo in his hand already. All he needs to do is deal 16 points of damage,
and then it's game.
Oh, okay.
The only good thing is, for Ozkaka at least, is he does have access to that AoE, so those pesky Force of Nature treants will get demolished if Ozkaka isn't forced into using them earlier. But the Maya Keeper, actually, we've not really discussed too much.
Yeah.
It's one of the new cards. It's actually something that's really powerful. Like, if it can either help ramp, as it's a choose one effect where you gain additional mana crystals similar to Wild Growth, or you can put a 2/2 on the board, as well as the 3/3 from the Maya Keeper. So you can either push out your board a little bit that Druid kind of struggles with sometimes, normally just known for just dropping 1 minion a turn and hoping for the best, or you can actually just increase the ramp. So it'll be interesting to see what Jackie goes with, but with cards like Force of Nature, Savage Roar, and we saw I think Power of the Wild earlier, I imagine you want the token most of the time in this deck.
Yeah, Violet Teacher is also going to be an option for this deck that's going to be pretty helpful in building up those tokens.
He can Savage Roar next turn for 14.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
The thing is,
the fear.
Unfortunately, during the change, Force of Nature treants did not turn into demons.
Oh, that's...
So Demon Wrath is a fantastic way to clear up this board. 3 mana to deal with a 5 mana card plus an Innervate. And Jackie Chan is sort of just laughing at his own deck list here, it seems. He draws Wisps of the Old Gods.
Hey, look, this is just like right up Jackie's street, right? Just crazy cards that, in all seriousness, like... that if those survive, if he summons the Wisp, and then Savage Roars, that's like a hell of a lot of damage. Like, it's very scary. But it was just funny the way he rolled his eyes. Oh, okay, you had Demon Wrath. In Reno Lock on turn 3, nice one.
Now, keep in mind, this is not the first round for both of these players. This is an upper bracket match, which means both Jackie Chan and Ozkaka did win in their first rounds. So this is definitely a little bit more stakes on the line. And also, this just proves that this lineup from Jackie Chan is formidable. It can win, and nobody wants to take this deck list lightly, even though it seems weird.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Jackie Chan's not known because he makes crazy decks and loses with them.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite. He makes crazy decks that even other people just struggle to pilot because they just don't quite understand what they're supposed to do with it, whereas he obviously understands it perfectly. And, he's took decks like Egg Druid was the first one, I think, he became popular with. He's took decks like Egg Druid, and obviously it's Camel Hunter quite high up on the ladder and in tournaments.
I remember his post where he made a post where he said, "Hey, my name's Jackie Chan. I hit hit #1 legend in February with Camel Hunter, with Desert Camel Hunter, and everybody was like, how does this deck ever win?
Yeah, like
most people were saying that.
Just couldn't really play it that well, but we did see the Discover go off there, and the Mulch was used, which got rid of the Twilight Drake, and swapped it for an Abusive Sergeant, so a pretty good minion in itself, but maybe not the best one that Ostkaka would want at this moment. But Ostkaka's hand is looking pretty okay. He has the Earthring Farseer for some additional healing. He has obviously Reno, the core of this deck, to be able to go back up to full, because he will be fully aware that effectively Jackie Chan, even though there's Yogg in it, it seems like a very token-heavy deck with potential of Savage Roar, ending the game. So with the healing cards and now Twisted Nethers in hand as well, he can definitely control it and just say, okay, I'm just not going to die to this burst because I'll heal out of range or clear the board.
He's not really under any pressure.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan getting a slow start. We were talking about the deck earlier. The deck is majority spells. And that's what you expect from a Yogg Saron deck. You don't need to run all spells, but the deck does have quite a few spells in it. And so I'm not surprised that means the consistency for the deck would be lower overall going into these early games.
Yeah, so I guess he solved the Forest drawn from Jackie.
Wow.
But Ostkaka just taking a pretty safe play there. Like you said, he's not under too much pressure. So just play the Peddler, see what comes out. He did end up with a Voidwalker, Earthring Farseer afterwards to just top himself up, because even with 3 minions down, double Savage Roar is something that is very scary, because that's still a hell of a lot of damage to come out of nowhere. So you may as well top yourself up and just put a 3/3 on the board as well, and still have options going forward.
Yeah. Well, Soul of the Forest is pretty good in token decks, just because it means that you're very likely to have things stick around. And Savage Roar is still just as powerful as it once was when you have a decent-sized board, and it can end games very quickly. It was one of the reasons why Druid was considered to be such a good matchup against Reno Warlock in the past. And we'll see if Jackie Chan can build up enough of a board to make good use of it.
Yeah, and this is where we'll see sort of Jackie's experience with this deck, because he built himself, obviously, this is his own deck. I'm just interested to know how many games he's played with it, in terms, how many Reno locks has he played? And there is Wisps of the old cards.
Yeah.
The pun card from the set, definitely. And there's some very angry-looking Wisps. They're not the normal blue-friendly Wisp we're used to seeing.
Yeah, one of the disadvantages to having the players know the deck lineups is Ostkaka's not even phased by seeing
Ostkaka doesn't get phased at the best of times, actually. Even watching him play in other tournaments where he doesn't know deck lists, his face doesn't really change a lot of the time. It's just like, yep, it's Hearthstone. I'm just going to play the game. This can happen. But especially knowing the list, he knows exactly how he needs to manage the resources in his Reno lock, which is pretty much what the deck's all about, right?
Yeah.
You're running one-offs of everything, so you really need to know the perfect moment to use each card and get the most out of your resources.
Well, Shadow Flame is going to deal with these pretty well. He can actually Shadow Flame in Abusive Sergeant.
Worked out okay in the end, getting the Abusive off the Mulch.
Yeah, and I mean, you can always say, oh, I'm happy to see that my opponent used 2 cards to deal with my 1 card.
Yeah.
But when your opponent is drawing extra cards every turn, and your cards are mostly spells that rely on you having a board, you're not quite as happy with that outcome.
Yeah, definitely a sad face from Jackie Chan then, as he saw the second unfortunate AoE for him. Clearing up his board that he tried to build up. Imagine we are going to see a Raptor draw here. Is he just going to straight up kill? No, he's going to draw, and there we go. Somewhere in the studio, Rob Wing just got very, very excited as Yogg Saron does come into the hand. And you know what? With a game that's gone, let's be honest, a little bit rough for Jackie so far, Yogg Saron's the card that can just flip that board state completely and just change everything around.
Yeah, there haven't been many spells that have been played this game, but with Yogg Saron, it only takes 1 to refill your hand, or clear your opponent's board, or double Blessing of Kings your Yogg Saron and then stealth it.
And then just kill him next turn.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to set Yogg Saron off, and when you're behind and you play Yogg Saron, you either just stay behind, or something crazy happens and you find a miracle to somehow get ahead or get even in the game. So that's why some of these players that play inconsistent decks, and I think that's where Yogg Saron is the strongest, is in decks that somehow sometimes have inconsistent early games, like this weird token druid and like the tempo mage, because it's sort of an emergency button.
Yeah, and actually the Sylvanas play is really nice here, because it's probably, as you can see on Jackie's face, he's like, damn it.
How do I deal with that?
It's kind of what you do versus Cthulhu as well, right? Because you put Sylvanas down and say, if you play Cthulhu and it kills Sylvanas and I steal your 18/18 Cthulhu, then you're in trouble again. And it's similar with Yogg, maybe not quite the same, but not that he can cast it this turn, of course, but it means he has effectively one turn to deal with Sylvanas before he plays that Yogg, and he has to deal with it quickly.
I know there's a lot of people who are similar to me in the fact that when I play Yogg Saron decks, at some point in the game, my mind just sort of flips a switch and I say, I don't really care about any of my other cards besides Yogg Saron. So I would just throw all of my spells before turn 10 and just hope to set up. And that's sort of what he does here. Not so much, because he could have played the Savage Roar, but didn't. It would have been almost effectively useless. But he is setting up for a situation where Yogg Saron could be a game changer here.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, because Ostkaka's mainly been focusing on answering the board because he knows the style of Druid it is, he's not really put any pressure on. As we can see, the Druid took 0 damage. He's actually gained 2 armor over the period of hero powers. And now Jackie Chan's just pretty much all in on this Yogg. And as we said, I've seen a lot of Yoggs effectively mill the player, which at this board state is probably looking pretty okay for Jackie if he double sprint happens or something like that. You kind of want the card draw.
Or Raven.
No, what?
Humor me for a second. Gang up the Yogg Saron. 4 Yogg Sarons in a single game, and they compound on each other. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it, Raven.
That's just fair itself, to be honest. I would probably just cry if that happened. If my opponent's Yogg ganged up Yogg.
It was their last card.
Yeah.
And they ganged up Yogg.
And then, but you were also not in a position to just kill your opponent anyway. And you just knew, no, there's going to be another Yogg. And then there's going to be another Yogg. Oh, no.
The thing is, even though some people have been trying to do the math on, like, is Yogg Saron statistically more likely to help you or hurt you? It's almost impossible to say just because of the variance involved with the card. I wouldn't even be that sad if my opponent ganged up the Yogg Saron, because I feel like they have just as likelihood to kill themselves.
Yeah, that's true. They just have more chances to die.
Yeah.
And I like this from Jackie, and this, I think, shows that he's definitely practiced this deck or played a lot of Yogg anyway, is I feel a lot of players just go, turn 10, I've played spells, I'm playing Yogg, and just seeing what happens. Whereas Jackie quite rightly just identified that I'm not going to die anytime particularly soon. I would benefit more from just cycling and potentially drawing more, casting more spells, and having a bigger Yogg impact going forward, instead of just going Yogg, win or lose, let's see what happens.
Yeah, so there is a really dirty way to clear the board here by using all your resources and trading in all your minions. But there's no way that you can guarantee... Actually, that's a lot of damage.
Yep. So that's...
it was 17, I think, total
18
damage.
With hero power.
18 with hero power. And he's actually just going to trade off, and it looks like send the rest of the day. Oh, nope.
But let's be honest. Ostkaka was on 21. Jackie could have done 18 that turn.
And then
you can see how this deck can win, though. Like, it's just 18 damage.
And then a stiff breeze from Yogg Saron would have taken Ostkaka out.
Exactly.
I think he wants to put enough pressure to either force him to use Reno Jackson or, try and force him to get greedy with the Reno Jackson. He wants to keep him at a health where realistically Yogg Saron could kill him.
Yeah, 100%.
But to a point where Ostkaka doesn't feel as threatened if the board is clean.
Yeah, and what's still good for Jackie Chan here is he's continuing to just spam a hell of a lot of spells. As we said, the deck list is almost just spells.
Yeah.
And also, he's on such high health himself, there's very little that impacts him super negatively. Like, playing a Yogg will not just kill him. He will not lose that turn he played Yogg to anything like fireballs, your own face or anything crazy like that. So Sylvanas does trade off and gets the 1/1 token with the death rattle, why not? To make it a little bit more resistant of a board to AoE. Not that Jack, I imagine, is too fussed about AoE at this point. And there's a Raven Idol, which I imagine...
I think you keep digging.
Yeah, well, I imagine you Raven Idol into a spell, right? Like, is a minion on this board going to do too much?
I mean, you have the full scope of your turn. You have 9 mana after you play the Raven Idol to create a minion. And you could get something really impactful from that Raven Idol. An impactful minion. Like spells, I think spells you're less likely to get something that's going to put you in a better spot on the board, whereas a minion might. But then again, the spells, you get one less spell from Yogg Saron, so what do I know?
Yeah, it's really weird. We can see Jackie going through the motions as well.
Okay, here we go!
Oh, God.
Polymorph for... Oh, well.
He got rid of the death rattle. Oh,
Entombed the Reno! Oh, man!
Oh my god, is Yogg Saron going to win the brawl?
Yep.
Of course he is!
And a Call of the Wild, no way! Well, that's not that helpful.
Okay, Misha's down. Misha's down, guys.
Oh, man. Oh, yikes.
So we're just in silence going, not quite sure what's going on now. But we're going to assess this after everything's done and dusted. This is still looking pretty good for Jackie. He has three Hunter secrets down now, I believe. He has Misdirection, Explosive Trap, and Snipe?
Snipe, yeah. He also got a Thrallmar Farseer that also has +1/+1. So it's a 3/4. And, I mean, he cleared the board, put a Reno Jackson in his deck.
Yeah.
And has, you know, a buffed Leok and a decent-sized Yogg Saron. He did make Oskaka draw a couple cards, so that is one thing. But it's a Reno Warlock. They would probably draw cards anyway. The thing is, is that enough? Like, is that Yogg Saron enough to swing this game in his favor?
Yeah, I was going to say that the awkward part there is like the Divine Shield on the Leok.
Yeah.
It's like, normally you just be like, oh, Shadow Bolt, sure, you know, done, Leok's gone. There's the Snipe. Makes it a little bit easy for Jackie Chan to deal with this Doomsayer, but does he necessarily want to? Let's see what he draws. Power of the Wild.
So...
He gets the bonus of Power of the Wild, the choose one effect. So
yeah,
I think we're definitely going to see Fandral Starkhelm, one of the the Druid Legendary of the new set.
He needs to find a spell or a minion that deals with this Doomsayer, though.
Stormwind Knight. Oh, he can't hero power.
Druid of the Saber.
Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, because he can use Power of the Wild as well. So he can Druid of the Saber, get both effects.
So it's a 3/2.
It has 3 attack anyway, right? Yeah, of course.
Well, the charge has 2 attack, but the Druid of the Saber, of course, would get both choose effects, so it would be a 3/2.
Yeah, Fandral, pretty cool guy.
Yeah. So this is not too bad.
Do you actually just play the Thrallmar Farseer here?
Actually, yeah, I think you would.
Because you can just Power the Wild next turn, right?
Yeah. That's if... I mean, it is a choose card, so while Fandral's on the board, you might want to get the value out of it, but I think Thrallmar Farseer is the stronger play. And I think you sort of have to be a little bit risky with your board states here, just because you're so far behind regardless.
Yeah. How did the Farseer become a 3/4?
It was the...
I can't remember what.
Stand Against...
Oh, yeah. I can't remember the name of the card.
Yeah,
but
Stand Against Darkness.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? No, that's the 5. That's the summon the 5/1/1s. It discovers a card.
Something...
Light in the Darkness.
Yep. Sure.
Yep. It's a +1/+1. Discover a minion. So it has very high variance because a Thrallmar Farseer comes out. It would have been cool if Yogg Saron would let you choose a Discover, but he makes all the choices.
Yogg Saron doesn't let you choose anything in TJ. He's like, just put me on the board, I'll do it.
Look at me, I'm the Discoverer now.
So the Rag just hits the 3/2, which is probably the, definitely the best outcome for Jackie. And maybe the face would have been okay, but not too fussed there. Savage Roar, how much damage?
So Power of the Wild would give +1/+1. And then Savage Roar would bring it up to 6 attack. So it would be 12 total damage from Thrallmar Farseer. 6 from...
18, right?
Yeah, so 18 plus the 2 from the face.
Oh no, it's 22.
24.
Yeah, it's 24 because the extra attack on the Farseer. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I decided to just imagine Wind Fury didn't exist for a second then.
Yeah.
It's not really a card I play with quite often.
Yeah. I would definitely say so.
Do you just go for... Yeah, I was going to say, do you actually just go for the damage? You've seen Reno. You also have traps up, remember? So you have Explosive Trap and then Misdirect.
Misdirection.
Yeah, so you know, what are you really afraid of that much? And that is a lot of damage. Puts Skaka straight down to 9. The Mountain Giant, probably not going to help too much. You can play that into Defender of Argus, maybe. Just taunt up. He has the option of the Cult Apothecary to heal up a little bit, but it will only heal for, what, 6? Brand Cult would heal for 12. But he has no real way to deal with these minions. Like, the issue he has here is if he Siphon Soul is like a really good answer to almost any minion in the game. But which one do you Siphon Soul? The 4/5 Wind Fury or the Fandral Staghound, which means if your opponent draws any more Choose One cards, they just become progressively more powerful.
And if you like Siphon Soul and go back up to 12, and then say Shadow Bolt, the 4/3, and leave the Fandral up, and your Rag misses it, all of a sudden you're at 12. You have a 4/6 on the board. And,
nice.
Now you get 2 Rag shots.
Yeah.
Hopefully
and
both of them don't go
2/9/9
face.
taunts for a start. Jackie Chan is like, oh, okay. First one, bye-bye, Fandral. Second one, straight to face.
Good Rag. Very good Rag. Oh my goodness.
Double swipe would have been nice if there was only 1 Rag. But 2 is definitely an issue, and now...
oh man, 1 damage off as well. If there was another line of play that Ostkaka went for, this could be a very different game. If he was able to just fit a hero power in to hit the face. And this is tough because that 9 health makes it incredibly awkward to clear, because you have to throw all of your damage to kill all these rags, to kill both of these rags.
Yeah, the problem as well is I think we've seen at least one of Living Roots. So I'm just thinking of what direct damage he has left, and maybe just hold on to the swipes, or maybe just swipe once face and see what happens. Because it's very difficult now, as he's got to try and deal with these rags, or the game's going to end very, very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think he has any direct damage inside of his deck. The only direct damage he would have would be 1 more Living Roots and maybe another Feral Rage, but that wouldn't go through Taunt. So he wouldn't really have a reliable way to close out the game if he went for the plan of try and hold on to burn and have a 1-out in his deck.
Yep. And Jackie Chan actually managed to clear up the board there, did use his minions, but a sort of weird side effect of him having to clear his own board as well is that the Cult Apothecary will now not heal him at all.
Yeah.
Which if he cleared and left his minions up with Bran, he could heal for like 12 plus, which puts him in a much safer position. But Ostkaka currently sitting on 7 health, and there's nothing to Siphon Soul either. So there's still potential for Jackie Chan, to do some crazy things, but drawing 1 card a turn is definitely going to be a huge drawback here.
Yeah, we do have to remember, though, the 200 traps remaining are Explosive Trap and Misdirection.
Oh my god, misdirect the Mountain Giant.
So there could end up being some crazy things that still happen in this match. Ostkaka is running it. He still has a reasonable amount of healing left. He has Cult Apothecary, he has Siphon Soul. So, he's not in any immediate danger, but if he misreads these traps, if that misdirection, heads back to his own face, there are some crazy things that could happen, but it feels like Ostkaka's not going to make that kind of mistake. I feel like he knows, he's narrowed it down to what Hunter secrets this could be, and I'm sure misdirection's on his mind.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm pretty sure Ostkaka's of the caliber to, when you see some random secrets go, you know exactly what sequencing you need to do to play around it in the best place possible, because otherwise you just die. And I think we've all done stupid things with secrets and gone, oh, okay, I didn't play around this, I'm dead. I should have just attacked in this sequence instead. But Ostkaka, I'm fairly confident, can navigate this and work out what's going on.
The thing is, with the changes to Mad Scientist and Hunter being very rarely seen now in tournament play, maybe Ostkaka forgot what kind of secrets. You could see when he attacked him with the brand and realized it wasn't Freezing Trap. He sort of paused for a second and said,
yeah,
what traps are left?
Yeah, and we can see Ostkaka not even going to try. There's no point. He's just going to take the Thaurissan there and just get the reduction on his cards. He can Leroy and Power Overwhelming for an additional 10 damage from hand for only 4 mana, so that's going to be nice. And Violet Teacher is actually going to give Ostkaka a target for Cult Apothecary to do a tiny bit of healing, and Siphon Soul probably more importantly. So that's actually pretty huge that he can gain that extra health back.
So now, does the order of the secrets matter here? I don't remember what order they were played in from Yogg Saron, but say he attacks him with the lowest health minion, which is the Bran Bronzebeard.
I think it just dies to explosive, right? Okay,
will his death resolve before the misdirection goes off? Because that's actually a big deal.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins. So Ostkaka has to know he's narrowed it down to all of the.
So is he playing Leroy because he's thinking about misdirect? Because this puts just more stuff on the board to potentially just not hit his own face with something.
He does have.
Yeah, I think Ostkaka's playing around this really well.
Okay, the misdirection's going to resolve first. Okay. Yeah, so that is lethal with the Hellfire.
Yep.
But if the explosive trap went off first and the Brand Bronzebeard had died, I think he would have been a little bit off. He would have been off because misdirection still would have had to been resolved by like the Emperor Thorsan, which could have been bigger.
Did we miscount?
No, he would have killed himself actually because he had 5 health. So if he played Hellfire, he would have the explosive trap would have went off and he would have Hellfired himself. So he would have forced a draw with that line of play actually. Maybe he realized that. It looked like he had a lethal opportunity on his mind. But realized that he would have died to it because he was at 5 health.
Yeah, and I think there's a 4-6 for 6 in Jackie's hand there. He's just laughing as Reno is not live at the moment, or his battle cry won't work if he plays it, as he still has duplicates in his deck. But also bear in mind, Ostkaka had to power overwhelming because otherwise the Leroy would die to explosive trap. So although that looked kind of weird to PO Leroy and then trade it into a 5 health minion, then that was the right play because otherwise Leroy's just dead.
It also put extra minions on the board with the whelps, and he also got the additional whelps because of the battle cry doubling effect from Brand Bronzebeard to give him more minions on the board for Cult Apothecary. So that's just a smart play from Ostkaka. It took me a second to realize that I was just sort of tunneling on the lethal damage, but you don't want to force a draw in a situation where you're the one who has to lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if it was a draw and they had to replay the matchup, can you imagine Ostkaka wanting to replay this matchup?
Yeah.
Just be like, oh god, not again. Oh, Yogg, not again, should I say.
Yeah. Might as well just play the Reno Jackson. Yep. Not even a reaction out of Ostkaka. Stone cold. Not even a smile.
Yep. And there's the 1 health is definitely there in the form of Hellfire.
All right, well, Ostkaka is going to take another game in the series, bringing the score to 2-0. Just one win left remaining for the world champion to move